Hi.
I'm Marguerite.
Hello.
Yeah, and we're here today to discuss dementia.
Of course.
And what do you have to say about dementia for a start?
Well, we're in the Dementia Hub in the centre of Swansea, which has been open since January, and it's a vital part of people's well-being now, because we get over 100 people through the doors every month with different questions about dementia, so it just goes to show how much it's growing and how many people in the community are now living with dementia. So it's a number that's growing constantly. We have an older population as well, and our population are ageing, so it is a problem that we are going to be identifying more.
Okay, and you are the project manager for this centre?
No, I'm one of the, I work on a different project. I work for Swansea Council for Voluntary Services, and I run a project for people living with dementia and their carers, and provide volunteers for befriending, and I run some social groups as well, and I help out in the hub once a week.
Oh, you get busy then.
Yes.
Okay, the first question I'd like to ask you, Ellen, and by the way, if you're watching for the first time, my name is Marguerite. I'm here with Ellen. We're discussing dementia, and if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Okay, the first question is it a cause for dementia? Oh, it's just an ordinary illness?
No, dementia is a disease of the brain, and as any part of your body can be diseased, your heart, your liver, your lungs, so can your brain be diseased. And basically it means the parts of your brain are dying and they will never come back, unfortunately, because once if you think of your brain as a set of fairy lights, when the lights start to flicker and go out, at the moment there is no cure for dementia, and so that once those lights are gone, they'll never come back on. So that means a function or an ability or a memory that was in your brain is gone, and you'll never be able to get it back, unfortunately. It is a progressive illness as well, so when someone receives a diagnosis, it is something that will get worse in time, and there's no way of stopping it either.
Wow, that's interesting to know. And is there any way or ways people can go about to manage dementia?
Yeah, people can live well with dementia, but there are some types of medication that can slow dementia down, depending on which type of dementia it is. There are over 100 types of dementia, and when someone first gets a diagnosis, they do a memory test with their GP. They can then be sent to the memory clinic if they don't score very well on the test, and then from the memory clinic they can be sent for a CT scan, a head scan. And then that would determine which part of the brain is no longer working, or which part of the brain is affected by the dementia, and that will determine the type of dementia it is. And then depending on the type, there can be medication that can be given to maybe slow down the progress of the illness, but also maybe to change behaviours and to keep people calm, or to reduce anxiety, but there isn't a cure, unfortunately. And dementia can be caused by many things. It could be an environmental factor, it could be, as we do in the news quite a lot now, by sport, by an accident, or by maybe somebody having heart problems, a stroke. There's lots of different factors that can come into it.
Okay. And then my next question would be, is there any special diet for dementia?
Not really a special diet, but it is recommended that people follow a healthy diet, as is recommended anyway. So lifestyle can come into it as well, because there's one type of dementia which is called Korsakoff syndrome, and that can be caused by excess alcohol consumption over a number of years. So again, that's a lifestyle choice, and so again, living healthily, such as low alcohol intake, low fat diet, not a sedentary lifestyle, keep yourself occupied, keep yourself active, all of those sorts of things come into it, and just be healthy really, and look after yourself.
Yeah. Oh, that's thank you.
Dementia doesn't discriminate though, just for me to add. It can be anybody, just because you may be a professor and all sorts of things, or you may not be very academic. There is no difference.
There's no difference.
Dementia can affect anybody.
Dementia can affect anybody, and if you're watching right now, there's no age to it. And my next question will be, if someone has the first, what are the first signs people can notice that will really tell them, notices it?
Very often the first signs that people notice are short-term memory loss. So it would be somebody who isn't remembering what they did this morning or what they did yesterday, but they can remember what they did 20 years ago quite clearly. So the long-term memory is still there, but the short-term memory very often can be the first thing that starts to go. Other people, it could be changes in behaviour, again depending on the type of dementia, and dementia affects everybody differently, so don't think because you know one person has got it that the next person will be the same, because everybody's different, and the type of dementia they've got and the way it progresses is different as well, which is why it's good to have that diagnosis in the first place.
Wow, that's powerful information. So I'm getting to know a lot here. And when people notice the first signs, is it best to go to a dementia centre or to ring their GPs?
The first point of contact for anyone that thinks they have dementia, they can come into the hub in Swansea and ask questions, but everybody will be directed to their GP, because everybody has to go to their GP for the initial assessment test, regardless of where they live and what they can access. The GP is the only access to the memory clinic, so everybody has to have a GP appointment. They do what they call a mini mental test, which is things like what year is it, what day and month is it. They give them an address to remember, they'll ask a number of other questions, they may ask them to draw a clock face and put the numbers on, but then they also ask to repeat the address and the name and address they were given earlier, and that test is scored as well, and depending on that score, depends if they think it's dementia or something else, and then that can lead to the appointment at the memory clinic.
But is that there is no cure?
There is no cure, unfortunately. And as you said, dementia can strike at any age. It was announced this week that a prolific rugby player for Wales, aged 41, has been diagnosed with dementia. People can be diagnosed younger. It isn't age specific, so just because you're old doesn't mean to say you're going to have dementia, and just because you're young doesn't mean to say you're not going to have dementia. So as I said, it could affect anybody at any time.
Is it advisable to drive while having dementia?
When you have a diagnosis of dementia, you have to tell the DVLA, in the UK anyway, that you have a diagnosis, and you can be put through another driving test so that they can assess. It's a driving assessment centre, but they can assess your ability to drive, and then somebody would make that decision for you. Generally, you're asked to give up your licence when you've got a diagnosis of dementia.
Wow.
Because of the safety, obviously, of yourself and others on the road, you know. So, because sometimes people's perception isn't quite the same. They're not quite seeing things moving as fast as you would normally see them, or it could be that their reflexes are not as quick to brake or to change, change gear even. So there's lots of things that come with it as well, and why it could be a danger.
Wow, I'm really impressed with your answers. And it will answer the questions. What led you to create this project? Are you one of the founder of the project? Is that
for the Dementia Hub, you mean, is it?
Yes.
The Dementia Hub was started as a result of, there's an organisation called Dementia Friendly Swansea, which is now a charity, and members of that organisation, it was just a group that would meet on a regular basis to start with, and over time we realised that there was a need to have a central base for information, because there isn't one. And people didn't know where to go, so if they were worried about someone who they thought may have had dementia, or just wanted information on what is dementia, they didn't know who to ask and where to go. But we're now in the town centre. This was thought up as an idea back at the end of last year in 2021, and by January 22 this was up and running, and it's very successful.
It's a very good idea, because people can always pop in
and they do, yes, and that's exactly what they do. That's what we're here for. It's open 7 days a week from 11 till 3, and there's different people here on different days, but we all work with people with dementia, so we've got, if we don't know the answers, we know other people that do.
Is it a project that needs funding?
It does need funding, because obviously we have to pay for the hire of the building, for all the everything that comes with it, the gas and electricity and everything else, and all the information and leaflets and things we provide as well. Plus we have volunteers, and the volunteers claim expenses, just because we can't expect people to turn up and not have lunch and things, and for travelling. So people get paid their expenses for being here as well.
So if you're watching right now and you're interested in helping this project of dementia, please feel free to contact my YouTube channel at the contact page. There is an email there, or obviously the message will be passed on to Ellen. And thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Ellen.
Thank you very much.
Supporting this much.